All right, guys, back on Southeastern 16 with Max Barr previewing the top 12 matchup between the Alabama Crimson Tide and Oklahoma Sooners. There's something we probably did not expect to be saying heading into the season, Max. And quite honestly, it was the Oklahoma part. We probably would have expected with Alabama, but we did not think Oklahoma would be sitting here as a top 12 team in the nation in the AP poll right now and at 13-0 on the season. They have won every game on their schedule to this point. And now, Max, we get to see how it plays out for them as they head to Tuscaloosa to play an Alabama team that, lost a couple games and a very tough schedule in non-conference play, but sitting here at 11-2 and playing some pretty good basketball right now.
Yep, both teams. This is going to be a fun one, Blake. This is one of the fun ones. Circle this one.
They're like watching fun.
Three? Well, yes, but if you like three-pointers, you're going to like this one. Betting line, Blake, I believe we're going to get something like Alabama -9, maybe Alabama -10, something out there at like 3-4 possessions for Alabama. If this was at Oklahoma, I bet it would be something like Alabama -4-ish, -5-ish, one of those like usual road favorite lines. So yeah, I'd call it like Alabama -9-ish, probably like 3-4 possessions.
Yeah, no surprise. Alabama shoots a lot of threes, as we know. As you said, they're shooting 32.8 per game. That's third nationally. It's just, they're putting up a lot of threes. No surprise there. Oklahoma also putting up some threes. They're 89th nationally, 25.8 per game. So, yes, that will be a story, I think, in this one. But, we talked about kind of in the Tennessee-Arkansas preview how it felt like a prove-it game for those two teams in different ways, just based on some of the discourse surrounding both of those teams at various points in the non-conference schedule. But I think Oklahoma is certainly the team, maybe, Max, with the most to prove this weekend, because they are a team that, again, I've seen people pick them apart and go to the non-conference, strength of schedule, just like in the 330s, 340s, something like that. Yes, they wound up getting a good win over Michigan. The Arizona win did not look as good as maybe we thought it would. They're 7-5 on the season. You can point towards like Louisville has not exactly been great either. We knew they'd be improved this season, but they haven't hit that next level. Even a win over Providence, right? Providence is now 7-7 after starting 5-0 on the season. They've lost 3 straight, although some of that to St. John's and Marquette, nothing to scoff at. But so I think that this is very important. Like it's an important game for Oklahoma to start SEC play. And I think, Porter Mosher probably can use this too, because they've heard it. They're a team that is certainly gotten more respect nationally now that they are sitting here unbeaten heading into conference play, and we're picked in the bottom 4 in the picked in the bottom 3 in the SEC, I think, in the preseason poll heading into the season. So they're this year's South Carolina to this point, and here they are with something to prove against the team that, as we said, Alabama kind of is what we thought they'd be. They've been dealing with some injuries, so that's also something that's notable with the Tide moving forward. But it's quite a matchup. But I think Oklahoma may be the team with the most to gain this weekend should they go in and win in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, speaking of injuries, keep an eye on that Friday night injury report release, because Alabama obviously has had a few. We're expecting Darian Reed to be questionable with that ankle. Little bit more concerned than usual, just because it's a re-injury from the summer when he tweaked that ankle. If it was like just a fresh ankle tweak that he was just playing through, it wouldn't be as concerning for me. But he was in the boot last game, so I'm gonna guess Reed is questionable. Honestly, would be a little bit surprised if he plays. I personally am leaning a little bit to I don't think Reed will play, but who knows? Keep an eye on that Friday night injury report. And then Houston Millette, Blake was sick. Oates said hopes to get him practicing this week. Completely expect Houston Millette to be good to go. And on the Oklahoma side, should be fully healthy. Like the thing I'm looking at here, and it is stark. It is night and day difference. It's Alabama's offense against Oklahoma's defense on the interior. That's going to be the story of this game for me. We can talk about the threes all we want. I think both teams are going to get theirs. Oklahoma's got fantastic shooters. So does Alabama, even though Alabama hasn't been making them at the rate I think they will. Alabama's offense, 2-point offense, Blake. Number 1 in the nation. Oklahoma's interior defense, far from number 1 in the nation, if you want to put it that way. That is probably the biggest Achilles heel for the Sooners, is that interior rim protection. Trust me, at the Bully Ball Committee, we love some Sam Godwin. We love him. He is a fighter in there, but he is not the best rim protector. He'll battle on the glass. He does not do a great job at protecting the rim, and Alabama should have easy going all day inside, Blake.
Yeah, I mean, you went exactly where I was going to go. There is such a big difference in the numbers.
So
Alabama, 63%, Oklahoma allowing teams to shoot 54% from 2, which is 253rd nationally. Yeah, it's a big difference. And I think it's also a big difference when you look at the numbers from 3. Oklahoma only allowing teams to shoot 27.1% from 3. Meanwhile, Alabama, surprisingly, only shooting 32% from 3, which is 248th nationally. But we know they can get hot at any time. And I think that you combine those two things together. Can the number 5 perimeter defense hold up against a team that can just get hot at any time? And can that interior defense hold up against a team that has been so good inside the lane and being able to get the kind of shots we know they want to get in an Nate Oates offense? I mean, those are the things that just stand out so much. Now, if you want to look at this from Oklahoma's standpoint, they do what very well? Just like Alabama, they're going to find ways to get to the free throw line. And when they do get to the free throw line, they have been remarkable in the area. 81.9% on the season from the line, which, of course, is helped by the fact that our guy, Jeremiah Fears, just does not miss. And so he's been absurd this season in terms of what he's accomplished. And so when you put all that together, there are obvious reasons to look at Alabama here and wonder, are they going to put up a lot of points in this game? But at the same time, if Oklahoma plays the way they want to play, which, too, they're an up-tempo team, so they're going to see a lot of possessions in this game, which is an Alabama game. You'd expect that. But, this could be a very fun, entertaining type game here, Max.
Yeah, and another angle, Blake, is that this is Oklahoma's first true road game of the season. That's rare. That's rare. At this point in the season, they still have not played a true road game. They played the 3 games in the Bahamas and rattled off the Providence, Arizona, and Louisville wins. That was kind of when we were like, holy smokes, Oklahoma's pretty good. And then they had the Oklahoma State win, which was in Oklahoma City. So it's called a neutral, but both,
right, yeah,
not hostile territory. And then the neutral against Michigan and Charlotte. So that's not hostile territory. This is really, I would say, Oklahoma's first test of the year where the crowd's going to be against them, fully against them. Whether you like it or not, that's a big factor. As we get through the SEC season and you rack up, every team's going to have a stinker on the road where it's just embarrassing. It's the nature of the beast in this conference. But they just have not been tested on the road at all. And in a game like this, with the spotlight on it, top 12, a lot of the doubters on Oklahoma, I think that's going to play a big factor in this.
Well, if you want to bet on this game, you can go to Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting. Earliest odds, in-game live betting. Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. Largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. It's all there. Head to Bet Online today. Don't forget to use that promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online. The game starts here. All right, Max, you know what I decided I'm going to dub this game? Because I was going to ask you the same thing I asked you in the Florida-Kentucky preview and say, whose game is this going to be, right? Forget all that. I'm going to answer it for you. You know what we're calling this? We're calling this the Fears and Sears game, all right? That's what this is right here, okay? We can't trademark that, but that's what we're calling it if we could, all right? This is all going to be about, these two guys going to go off for 35 each in a game like this. That's what I want to see. Just let me see these guys put up the numbers, and let's see what happens, right? But, I really think that is part of the story here, Max, because you look at just the way these two play, and I think that's why this one's going to be interesting because, again, for some of the doubts people are going to have on Oklahoma, yes, and we know Alabama can be such a juggernaut sometimes that they can just blow anybody out. Doesn't matter how good they are. It's just because
Yeah.
Alabama could overwhelm you offensively. Because again, I don't think those numbers from three are going to hold up the rest of the season. Like I don't think they're going to wind up being 248th nationally in 3-point percentage.
No.
I think that's going to get a little bit better. Now we know too, like not having Latrell Wrightsell, that could play into it. That number may not reach what we thought it could had he been available for the entire season, but I still think they're going to wind up getting some of those games where they go 17 of 38 or something. Like I just think that's going to happen. So I don't know if it happens here, but like it is one of those where I'm so curious to see what we get just from these guys and the potential to take over. And that's why I think Oklahoma can make this interesting, because I don't feel like they're a team you're just going to completely put away because of how good Fears has been. And we know Moore's putting up points too. And I just think the way they kind of go about how they run their offense and those kind of things and the efficiency we've seen from them so far, I don't know. This feels like a team that could be a little hard to put away because they kind of have a similar profile, not the same as Alabama, but they're going to get points from three, and they're also going to get to the line and make their shots from the free throw line. So, man, it should be a fun offensive battle here.
Yeah, another factor here is tempo, and especially for Oklahoma's defense. Oklahoma's defense slows you way down. They get back quick. They get back quick. They keep everything in front. That's it. Porter Moser's always done that. Go back to his Loyola teams. No matter what season, Porter Moser slows you way down, takes you out of your rhythm, and that's a big reason why they've won these games. They haven't been trailing a lot because they hit their free throws, they hit their shots, and they slow you way down on defense. And over the course of the game, they're hitting more shots than you are. That's how Oklahoma's been winning so far. The only thing is that it's a very tough ask to say, can you go to Alabama and hit more shots than them? That's a tough task. But like you said, I think this could be a game that could end up very close.
Yep. All right, let's make our picks. Boy, this is an interesting one, Max, but I'll let you go first on this one.
Yep, I'm just double checking to see who Chris picked. Chris picked Alabama, so Chris is going with the Tide at home. I'm also gonna pick Alabama here, but I will say if this is a 9-10 point spread, I like Sooners to cover. I just think the way that they're going to slow the game down enough to a point where I have a hard time seeing Alabama absolutely run away with it. But honestly, as I'm saying that, Blake, I've seen that so many times before.
I know.
So it's tough for me to think like, man, Oklahoma's been so just consistent. I have a tough time seeing them get blown out. But honestly, Alabama's a team that can do it.
Yeah, I think that's what's interesting. Point total for Alabama at home this season. 110 versus UNC Asheville, 88 against Arkansas State, 72 against McNeese. Continue on, all right? 83 against Creighton, 81 against Kent State, 105 against South Dakota State. Like, Oklahoma's a different opponent. Like, everybody's different. But I just think, like you said, anytime we can kind of see them go off, Alabama that is, at home, and if that happens here, asking Oklahoma to kind of have that success on the road in their first true road game of the entire season, did not play a true road game in non-conference play. I think that's a lot to ask. Yet I still believe in Jeremiah Fears and the ability for them to kind of meet the challenge here. I would not be shocked at all like you if this thing's close, but you can also see that scenario where if Alabama just comes out playing like we know they can, they can do this to not just Oklahoma. They can do this to a lot of other teams in the SEC, even as strong as the league's been this year. So I'm going to pick Alabama as well in this one. So if you think we have been disrespecting Oklahoma, this may be what you're looking for. The Southeastern 16 kiss of death, your first time this season, Oklahoma fans, being introduced to it in SEC play. This could be exactly what you want. You can research the phenomenon known as Southeastern 16 kiss of death for more details on that. But we're all picking Alabama. What could go wrong for the Tide in this game on Saturday? But we will, of course, have it covered here at Southeastern 16. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to have live reactions on Saturday to these games. So turn on your notifications. We appreciate your support of our SEC basketball coverage, and we'll talk to you again here soon at Southeastern 16.